Hi guys, it's Kate here from dudehack.com, and today I'm going to be running through 20 conversation topics for a first date. First dates are pretty nerve-wracking no matter what you're normally like. You're putting yourself out there to be judged by someone you probably don't even know very well, and odds are you already think that they're nice and hot. Ruining things with flat chat is absolutely crushing. So, what are good questions to ask on a first date? Well, just before we get into all of that, because I know you're super excited to know, a little reminder, my name is Kate from dudehack.com, a website that is all things dating. Make sure you check out our dating app quiz. This is going to tell you what app is best suited to you, and you can find the link in the description box below for that one. And please consider subscribing, as it tells the algorithm that you want to see more of me and Steve, and we can keep making videos like this. Okay, so unless your date has been planned extremely spontaneously, you've usually got a little bit of time to think up some fun and interesting conversation topics for when that kind of awkward silence hits. And today I am going to run you through 20 first date questions that will result in laughs, deep chats, and most importantly, a second date. Starting at number 1, if you could travel anywhere tomorrow, where would you go? If a passion for travel is something that you and your date share, this one is particularly good. It can be fun and lighthearted, exchanging silly stories and language mix-ups from past holidays. It can go a bit deeper since a lot of people have had pretty big or life-changing experience on their travels. You can discuss the best dishes you've eaten, the most beautiful sights that you've ever seen, and the best friends that you've made along the way. You can also share your dream destinations and see if any of them match, planting seeds for future travel adventures. 2, what's the best meal you've ever eaten? Your date might tell you about the lavish Michelin-star dinner that they had on a very special occasion. They might tell you about a surprisingly delicious street food dish that they had abroad, or that they could talk about their mother's cooking that they think is the absolute best. There's plenty of options since food has a really special place in most people's lives, so it's a great conversation topic for a first date. This question will get much better and longer answers than what's your favorite food. 3, if you won $1 million tomorrow, what would you do with it? A fun one. I love to dream about what I would do with $1 million, and I bet your date will too. Money is such a drag. Imagining life where money is no object is the ultimate fantasy. No doubt your date has thought about this one before, so you can have some fun building on your imaginary lives. Number 4, did you have any nicknames when you were a kid? And what about now? Nicknames can be a sore point for some people. We all know that nicknames from childhood can be a little bit embarrassing, given by bullies or older siblings for things that we weren't super proud of. But most of them are at least funny in hindsight and can be a source of a good laugh and a little bit of a I'll tell you mine if you tell me yours situation, which is always fun on a first date. Nicknames given in adulthood usually have a pretty funny or weird backstory too, so definitely worth asking. 5, what's something I wouldn't guess about you? You guys have only just met, so there are probably loads of answers to this question. It can be quite revealing. What does your date think is surprising about them? What do you think is surprising about you? Whether your date has 10 cats or is a world champion lawn bowler, you are bound to get some good conversation going from asking this question, as well as an opportunity to make them laugh with some shocking information about you. 6, what's on your bucket list? This is a classic. Some might think it's a little bit cheesy, but come on, it's a great way to learn about someone's wildest dreams, so why wouldn't you ask it? People's bucket lists can be really out there or pretty tame. According to USA Today, fall in love is at the top of 83% of singles' bucket lists. That's something that you could help with. Also up there are wine tours and swimming with turtles and seeing the northern lights. Less common answers are enrolling in survival classes and space travel. These answers will let you know a lot about your date and the life that you could lead together. 7. What's been the most significant or best year of your life so far? This is a deep first date question, so only ask it if you feel you want to know your date on a more deeper level. Not everyone has a huge pivotal year that is really significant, but some people do. Even if it wasn't anything crazy, most people could choose a year of their lives that has had a big impact on them or changed their perspective. This question will encourage honesty and reflection, and whatever the answer is, it will probably invoke some long responses and deep conversations, or let you and your date talk about some great times. Number 8, what's your family like? Tell me about them. Our families shape us and are the people who usually have the biggest impact on who we are as people, whether they are good relationships with family or even complicated ones. People can normally talk about their family forever. So this is a really good question for avoiding awkward silences. It will also bring you closer on your date since it's such a personal topic and most people have some pretty wacky family stories. Keep in mind that some people might not want to talk about family stuff, and if you sense that, don't push it on them. Move on to something a little bit lighter instead. Number 9, if you were stranded on an island and could take 3 things with you, what would they be? This one is a bit of a silly one, but also a fun one and will highlight your playful side. We've all got things that we cannot live without and they say a lot about us. It will be things like favorite books, hair care products, a toy with lots of sentimental value. Almost everyone will probably say their phone, so it's interesting when someone doesn't. Tough to find people who aren't glued to their screens these days, and it says a lot. Number 10, what's the scariest thing you've ever done? This question can go a couple of different ways. You could get stories about overcoming fears and making personal progress, like giving a speech in front of 100 people when you have a crippling fear of public speaking. Or you can get some funny stories of stupidity, like climbing to the top of 10 levels of scaffolding when you were really drunk and seeing your whole life flash before your eyes. Either way, good to know, and it will give you a fair bit of insight into your date's life. Now, just before we jump into number 11, if you are liking this video so far, we would really appreciate if you could give it a like and even hit that subscribe button for similar content. Number 11, was there ever an event in your life that defied explanation? Do you have a spooky experience from your past, an eerie coincidence that could only be your grandma communicating to you from the heavens above? A sighting of an otherworldly creature hanging out at your local forest? Hey, there's some weird shit out there. These memories are often quite personal and some people might feel vulnerable to share, but a bit of vulnerability is always welcome on a first date. That's how you really get closer after all. If you can tell that they're taking your question with a grain of salt, lean in and make some jokes, but if your date takes this question a little bit more seriously, be sensitive or they might get insulted. 12, where is home to you? This question can be pretty personal. You might have met your date in the city that you both live now, but you might not know their whole history. Maybe they were born somewhere else or have heritage that means a lot to them. It might be the place that they've made the best memories and really want to return to one day. Home often means different things to different people. So this question can be great for opening up the conversation and learning more about each other and getting a sense of what is most important to your date. 13, what's the worst thing you've ever done? This is a dangerous one. Obviously, you're playing with fire a bit here, but it can also be one of the most funny first date conversation starters since some people have some hilarious horror stories. A surprising number of people will talk about something they did as a child that had a huge impact on them, but really isn't that bad. Of course, some people will have darker answers, but will they reveal them? It's fun to confide in each other, and it will bring you closer, assuming that they don't admit to something really awful. 14. What's something you're obsessed with? Think like TV shows or baking bread, whichever option it is. Asking this question is a good way to know if your date is a quirky obsessive, not that that's always a bad thing, or has any funny stories on the matter. 15. How do you love to spend your weekends? This will tell you quite a lot about a person. Does your date leave work on a Friday and party until Monday? Do they need a lot of quality alone time to recoup from their week, reading at home or catching up on TV? Maybe they have strong family ties and visit them often. Asking this question is a good way to know if your lives will be compatible. If you love going out with your friends every weekend, but your date hates that scene and would rather have a cozy night in, you might not be a great match. Of course, you're different people and you don't need to have identical interests, but this is a common point of tension in relationships. So why not get in there early and learn if you will gel? 16. Where is the worst place you've ever been stuck for a long time? Okay, this one is kind of weird because it can be very silly or actually quite stressful. Asking this question is a good way to hear some funny stories or at least some interesting stories about a person's life. 17. What were you like as a child? Everyone has funny stories from when they were a kid. Maybe you were super annoying and followed your siblings everywhere that they went. Maybe you had a lizard who was your best friend. Maybe you were a total nerd and teacher's pet. It's always super interesting to hear about someone's formative years, so ask this on your first date to get an insight into your date's past and what they used to be like. Compare it to how they are now. 18. What movie have you seen the most times in your life? This is different from asking what someone's favorite movie is. It's much more revealing. When asked what's your favorite movie, it's easy to say something to sound really impressive, something that you kind of wish was your favorite movie, but actually kind of went a little over your head. If you ask what movie you've seen most, there's only one true answer. Whether it's a comforting Disney favorite or a challenging masterpiece they keep going back to, this question opens up discussion about what movies mean to you both. 19. What do you think is your most attractive quality? If you ask this question and they talk for ages, reeling off a million great qualities about themselves, this might be a sign your date has a little bit of an ego or might be a bit arrogant. If, on the other hand, they struggle to say one good thing about themselves, this could mean that they have confidence issues or are insecure in general. These might be deal breakers for you, or they might not be, but either way, it's good to get a sense of how your date feels about themselves as a person. And last but not least, number 20, which person in your life do you talk to the most? Apparently, we are the product of the 5 people we spend the most time with, so knowing this about your date will tell you a lot about them. And since they're close to these people, they will feel comfortable talking about them. Maybe they have a close-knit group of friends who have been together since school. Maybe they've made super close friends while traveling and visit them often. Or maybe they get on really well with their siblings and all hang out all the time. Asking this question will help you build a picture of your date's life and what they're like, since talking about their nearest and dearest will probably reveal how they think about themselves. And there we have it, 20 great conversation starters for your first date. And if it is the date that you're looking for, make sure you check out our dating app quiz. This is going to tell you what app is best suited to you, so you can find that first date. You'll find the links in the description box below. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button. And if you do want to find out more information about dating apps, make sure you check out our other videos. And hit that subscribe button for similar content. Anyway, guys, that is all for today. Make sure you check back in for regular videos. I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.